This is Gemara Sanhedrin Daf Tzadi Gimel, and we pick it up on Tzadi Beis and Beis, 4 lines into the wide lines. We like all the learning to be an incredible zchus Rafua Shlima for Tinaik ben Miriam Ahuva b'seich shar Chayle Yisrael. So we're holding 4 lines into the wide lines, says the Gemara. Tanu Rabbanim b'shash evil Nebuchadnezzar Rasha as Chanani Mishava Zar Kivshan Eish. When Nebuchadnezzar placed Chanani Mishava Zaria into the fiery furnace, Amar Loya Kadosh Baruch Hu Yechazkel, Hashem said, Leich, go out, Vehechi Amisim Bikas Doira, and perform Techiyas Amisim in the valley of Doira, Kivan Shechia, his son. So once Yechezkel went, and once Yechezkel brought them back to life, so the bones came and hit that Rasha, hit Nebuchadnezzar on his face, and Amar says Nebuchadnezzar, Mativa and Shalilu, what are these strange bones? Amar Lai, Chavrei and Shalilu, Mechayim Esi B'Gaz Daira. Their friend, of course, referred to Yechezkel of these 3 guys, Chanan Mishav Azariah, performed Techiyas HaMeisim. Pasach v'Oimar, and Nebuchadnezzar began reciting, Asoihi Kama Rivervine, Simoyi Kama Takifin. Says Nebuchadnezzar, greater the signs, or greater the wonders, Malchusa Malchus Alam, Sholtaneim Dar Dar. And his malchus of a Kadosh Baruch Hu should be everlasting, as well as his control. Amar Rav Yitzchak, says Rav Yitzchak, Yoitzik Zav Retech L'Topiv Shal Yisur Rasha. Melting gold should be poured into the mouth of that Rasha. Shel Malei Loi Ba Malach L'Sadr Al Piv. The Malach did not come and hit him on the mouth. Bikesh L'Ganois Kol Shirais V'Shishbachais. She'amar David v'Sefer Tilim, that this evil Russian Nebuchadnezzar would have come along and contradicted and threatened and shamed all the incredible Tilim of David HaMelech. So continues the Gemara, Tanu Rabbanan, Shisha Nisim Nase Boisayim, on that day when Chanash Nani Vishav Azariah were thrown into the Tikv Shana 6 miracles happened. V'ilu Number 1, Savakiv Shan, the furnace rose to ground level. V'nifrat Akiv Shan, and the walls were breached. V'humak Saide, the foundation caved in. V'nefach Tselem al Banav, and the image, the Tselem, the idol that Nebuchadnezzar had erected, turned over. V'nisrafu Arba Malchios, and 4 parties were burnt. V'hecha Yechezkel as Amisa Vigas Deira. Chazkel brought them back to life. Ve'kula Gemara, and all of these are a Gemara, and all of these are Alachim Shmisina. They're a Messiah. Kula Gemara v'Arba Malchiyos Kara. That's a pasuk Tichsev. Nebuchadnezzar Malka Shalach LeMechlef Lach Shardar Pina Singna Opechavia Vargazar Kazaria Gadavia. Visavraya, all different names, Tafyaya, Tiftaye, Chol Shiltanim, Imdisa, and all the Shiltain and all the masters, the officials of the government. Uksev, the Pasuk says, Iti Gavrin Yaidan, these are the Jewish men, Uksev, Usnar Shadach Shdarpina Saganya, Upachavasa, Vatavri Malka Chazia the Gavraya. All the different nobles and governors were assembled, and these men over whose bodies the fire had no effect, meaning the Kivshan Eish never burnt them up. Says the Gemara, 2 lines, Malka Chazi on the Gavrielach. Tanitvei, Rav Eliezer ben Yankiv, Afilu B'Shas HaKona, L'Yishane Adam Es Atzah Min HaRabbana Shaloi. Even at a time of sakana, life is at danger, a person should not abandon. Over here, Rabbanus means his dignified mannerism. Shanamar Baretz Kavrai Ilech Kafta Visar Beleoin Pashteon Mekable Soyoin, and the men were bound their cloaks, their pants, their robes. You see, they were still dressed. Amar Rav Yochanan, as we turn over to Samach Gimel Amud Aleph, teaches Rav Yochanan. Kedoilim Sadikim Yoiser Mi Malachi Ashares. Sadikim are even greater than Malachi Ashares. Shenemar, says the pasuk on the second line of Ayin Gimel Amud Aleph, Sadikim Amud Aleph Anav Amar, says the pasuk. They exclaimed and they said, after Hanani, Mishael, Azariah are seen walking around the Kivshan Eish not being burnt, so they proclaimed on a Chazi Govern Arbayin Sharia and Mahalchin Kainaira V'Chavalaite B'Hain Chavalaite B'Hain V'Rave Di Ravraya Dema Levar Elohin. Pasuk means he saw 4 men walking amongst the fire, and there's no wound upon them. And the appearance of the 4th of them is like a malach. So we see Hanani, Mishael, Azariah strolling, rolling, walking around inside the Kivshan Eish without any problems at all. Continues the Gemara, Amar Avtancham Bar Chanilai. When these two, when the Hanani, Mishael, Azariah are spared, and they walk out of the Kivshan Eish, all the nations of the world come, Yisrael. All the nations of the world come, and they strike the enemies of Klal Yisrael, which of course refers to Klal Yisrael herself. Al paneim amr lahem yesh lechem elikar kazeh v'atem mishtachim v'netzelem miyad baschu v'yomer l'chashem astagav l'nabosh l'avanim kemazeh amr Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani amr Rav Yonis amayich sev amarti ella v'tamar achaziyah b'sensenov. Says, explains the Gemara, amarti, I said, ella v'tamar elu Yisrael v'achshav lo yala b'yadi, now start working elu sansanim echashel chanam yishav Azariah and whomever was there. Amar Rav Yochanan Melech Sever Isi Halayla V'Hinei Ish Reichev Al Sos Adaim. Someone's riding a horsey. V'Oimed Bein Min Adasim Asher B'Mesula V'Kaimer Mayri Isi Halila Bikish Gidvarchu Lahafech Eskol Ha'ilam Kula L'Layla V'Hinei Ish Reichev. How can we turn over everything? What about the man riding? Ein Ish is whom? None other than Allah Kadosh Baruch Hu B'Chvayde V'Atzva Shneamar Hashem Yishbalchama Hashem Shemai Asos Adam Bikish Kadosh Baruch Hu Lahafech Es Olam Kula L'Dam Kiv Shezag L'Chavish Av L'Dar Niskar Daita. This wild bull was calmed down in his das once he saw Chanan Mishav Azariah V'Oimed Bein Hadasim Asher Ben Tula Bein Hadasim El Sadikim Shavachiyim Ben Hadasim Ben Tula El Bavel Shneamar Hoimer Letzela Charvim and Arayach Oivish Mian Malachim Roiges V'Nasim Shrokim V'Adumim Nas Lebanim Aravav Shami Nas Susya Chiyavra Mali Lachma. Says the Gemara that they actually have to know what's going on. Continues the Gemara trying to figure out what was the rest of the story. It's one of those things. You ever wonder, like Hanani Mishav Azariah, they're thrown into the Kivshan Eish. They, at some level, have, Tzchias HaMesim or whatever happens. Where do they go next? Says the Gemara in the 4th Wide Life, Rabbana Leicha Azul Azlu. Where do they go? Amarav Bayin Hara Mesu. They died, unfortunately, because of an Ayin Hara. Shmuel Amar Beroig Tavu. They drowned in spit. Yochanan Amar Alul Eretz Yisrael V'Nasu Nashim V'Alidu Banim Ubanos. So 3 pshatim. What exactly happened to them? The second shot is wild, that the Goyim were spitting so much at the Yidden that they drowned. 3 pshatim. Says the Gemara Kitanai, these 3 shitas of Machlekes Tanaim. Rav Lezer, Rabbi Yinara Meisu, Rabbi Shom, Rabbi Tivach, Amreilu, there's someone who should not really do Banim Ubanos. Shenemar Shemana Yeshua Kayin Hagadol Ata Virecha Anshe Moifes Heima. So says the pasuk, who are these people? Continues the Gemara on a similar vein. Daniel, a friend of Chanan Shav Azariah Chanazel, Amar Rav, you know where he went? Lemichan Rabba Bitiv area to dig a river in Tavario Shmuel Amar Lasui Bizra Das Pasta to import the pasta seed Rechnam Lasui Chazir Alexandria Shal Mitzrayim to import Chazir and pigs for Alexandria Mitzrayim. Says the Gemara, Eini Vatani Otudis Araife Omer teaches the Brisa. Tudis Araife says, Ein part of a Chazir and Yotzil Alexandria Shal Mitzrayim. There was no such thing. Shein Chatz Chaim Shela. What is the reason? Because that, excuse me, I read it wrong. Why not? Without cutting out the room that they don't give birth, so can't be. Says the Gemara, Zutri Aisi, Daniel brought some of these to Egypt without their knowledge, and that's how it was still possible that there were Chazirim. Tanarabanan continues the Gemara. Says the Gemara, Shleisha Ayub Eitzah. 3 people were in that Eitzah by Daniel. Daniel, Kadosh Baruch Hu, Daniel V'Chanetzer. Kadosh Baruch Hu Amar Nezel. Kadosh Baruch Hu said, Nezel. Daniel Me'achal, let Daniel leave Bavel. To lo leimer b'zchusa, they should not say in his chos, it's not sel. Chanay Shalav Azar was saved. But the Neil Amar Ezel Me'achal, why do lekayim be? I want to get out of here, so people should not say Psulayim Tisraifun, that their idols should be burnt in fire by Eish. Muchanetza Amar Yezel Daniel Me'achal, why Dlemer Le Le'Yaheya Benura? The people should not say, says Nebuchadnezzar, that he burned his own God. Chas v'shalom. And I decided. Excuse me, not Chas v'shalom, it's referring to Avodah Zarah. Where do you know that Nebuchadnezzar bowed before Daniel? Tchsev says the Pasik, B'dayin Malka Nebuchadnezzar Nafal on Payil Daniel Sageh, that he bowed in front of Daniel. Continues the Gemara on almost a tangent, but a first cousin of Hanan Mishael Azariah is going to be that we're going to have Nevi'ei Sheker, that at some level equate and say how they are similar to Hananiah, Mishael, ve'Azariah. Says the Gemara, Kayamar Hashem Zivak Ki Yisrael Achav Ben Kolayav El Sidko Ben Maseo Nevi'im Lochem Mishvila Sheker V'Kaimer. Oh, Ksiv in the Bosik says Lokechem Klol Lechol Golas Yehuda Asher B'Bavel Emer Yisimcha Hashem Kisid Kiyo Uki Achav Asher Kolam. Says the Gemara, it doesn't say that they were burnt up, or rather, but rather they were scorched. They were made like kloyos, like toasted grain. Says the pasuk, and they were together with the wives of their friends. My avod. Ask the Gemara, what did they do? Also, they came to the daughter of Nebuchadnezzar. Achav Amar La. Achav said to her, Kamar Hashem Ishmael Tzidkiyo. Amar Kamar Hashem Ishmael Achav. Achav said, Hashem said, they consent to Tzidkiyo and be with Tzidkiyo. Tzidkiyo said, so should Hashem be with Achav when he comes to you. So this girl comes and says to her father, Amar Lo. Her father, Nebuchadnezzar, says, Aleyehem Shalelu Soine Zimo. Says Nebuchadnezzar, what do you mean? Their God hates Zima. Their God hates immorality. When they come to you, send them to me. So they came to her. And what happened? Send Nebuchadnezzar. Amar Lo. He says to them, Amar lehu, I lost the place. Amar lehu, no. Man Amar, I don't know where the place is. I don't know what the next word is. I'm sorry. Amar lehu, man Amar lechayin. Who said this to you? Amar lehu. No, again, I'm sorry. Man Amar lechayin. Who is the one who told you to tell this to my daughter? Amru, they said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I asked the Gemara of Achanani Mishalva Azariah Shal Tinu. Boy, Achanani Mishalva Azariah, I asked, V'amruli, and they said it's awesome. Amrulei. So Achot Tzidkiyahu responded, Anami Neviya Kavasayu. We are as well Nevi'im. Lididolo Amar Lam Lilo Didi. It's a false nevuah. We did not receive the nevuah, Marlan. Amar Lehu Nebuchadnezzar says, Ana Beina Devat Kinu. I want to test you. Same way I tested them. Amrulei. So these Tzidkiyahu and Achav responded, Einon Telasav, Ivan Ansrei. There were three, we're only two. Amr Leho, says Nebuchadnezzar, Bacharu L'chain. Choose for yourself, who's going to come together with you. Amru, they said, Yeshua Kohen Gadol. We want Yeshua Kohen Gadol. Savri, they thought, Yeshua will protect them. Achtiu, they brought Yeshua Kohen Gadol Shadinu. They threw him down into the fire. All three of them into the fire. Enu ekli Yeshua Ben Gadol Kohen Gadol ichruchi. Yeshua Ben Gadol, his clothing was burned. Shenemar, says the Pasuk, Manani Shemar. 8 lines in the bottom. But you know, is Yeshua Kohen Gadol amid of name of Hashem Goimer. Say, Vayomer Hashem Lasat, and Yigar Hashem Bechav Goimer. Hashem said to the Satan, is this not someone to save? Amrlu, Amr Lein Nebuchadnezzar responds, Yadana, I know Sadkiwanat, I know that you're Sadikim, that's you're not being birthed. What is the reason why? The fire did a little bit. Yeshua Kohen Gadol burnt your clothing. They weren't burnt at all. They were three and only one. Avram was by himself. Also, so says the Gemara, an incredible statement that when we have two dry items and one that is wet, the two dry ones will be able to light the wet one. Says my time Yanish. The Maiso was Yeshua punished. You know why? 4 lines to the bottom. They married women who were inappropriate for kuna. And the father did not protest. Yeshua Yalavish because of Savayim. Yeshua Lavish because of Savayim. Alamed. He did not protest. Omer Rav Tanchum, 2 lines in the bottom, Darsh Berkabara. Betzi Bari, Maidich Sev. What is the meaning of the pasuk that says, Sheish Hasayrim Ha'ileh, Nasan Li, 6 barleys he gave to me. My Sheish Hasayrim, Sheish Hasayrim, Mamish, Chidarku Shalpayas, Litin Matanish Hasayrim. What's going on over here? Rus is commenting that Bayas gave her 6 pieces of barley. Does that make any sense? Ella rather, says the Gemara, as we turn over to Samakimel Amid base. Ella, you know what's going on over here? Shish Sayin, with 6 saw of barley. Now that's a sizable amount. Chedark Shalisha, Little Shishan, it's too much. Ella Rem is Ramaz Lasha Sidim Shisha Banim. The Rem is that Rus was getting. The La Silava, you're gonna have 6 sons. Let's spend Shem Barchim, Shish Brachos. Elohim David Mashiach. David Mashiach Taniel Chanani Mishal Vazariah. David Achsevi Yanecha Ben Harib. When you receive Ben Li Shai, Beisalach Viyadeh Nagan Vigibor Chayel Vishvacham Vinavan Davar Ish Taber Vish Toyer Vishemi Mai. Amarav Yehud, Amarav Kol Apostle. I said this whole Apostle Loya Amru Daig. Elo Belashain Hara. Yadeh Nagan. Sheyadeh Lishal Gibor Sheyadeh Lahashev Vishvacham Sheyadeh Lisa Vlitin B'Macham Toishel Taira. All in the favorable vein. Says the Gemara of Hashem Yimai. What does that mean that Hashem was with him? Hashem will be with him all days. Bekulu, excuse me. Well, no, I was right the first time. In each of these things, David Shaul says that my son Yonasan is also like him. Even the Amar Lei, but once it was said, Hashem Yimai, Milsa Dibididei Nami Lo Yhavei. It was something that even Bididei, even by himself, he did not have. So Cholish Taite, so Shaul feels bad. V'akni Bey, and Shaul becomes jealous of David HaMelech. Explains the Gemara. The Bishal, what does it say? Ksev, says the Gemara, Minala, and how do we know? Didoig Havi. Kseva, Chavi Anechem and Arim Yuchad. Shaman Arim, the Miyuchad, the choice one. Kseva, Asavi Ishmei have the Shal. Baimu Nesal Neashem Shmo Doiga, Daimi Avir Rayim, Ashel Lishol Mashiach, Asher Lishol. So we see that he had this incredible Maila. Mashiach T'chsev V'nachalav Ruach Hashem, Ruach Chachma Bina, Ruach Eitzak Ruach Yidas V'yiras Hashem, V'gaymer Ksev, Arichel V'yiras Hashem. Amar Rav L'chzanji Melami She'atanu Mitzvahs V'yisurim Kirichayim. Says the Gemara, you know what's going on over here? That they were Eiteach Mitzvahs Kirichayim. The second shot of Mashiach Rav Amar D'Mayriach V'Dayin. That there were snitches and judges, that they see that everything was perfect. Says the Gemara, Bar Kuzvia Melech Tartin, Shtenu Baga Bar Kuzvia was ruled for 2.5 years. Amr Lahin Rabbana Na Mashiach. Amr Lei Mashiach saved the Mayriach. By Mashiach it says the Mayrach V'Dayin. He has everything. He smells good and he understands. They killed him. Says the Gemara, let's go back to all the brachas that we saw by Hanan and Mishael. By all the descendants of Rus. Daniel, Hanan and Mishael, Vazaria. Tersev, Be, Ashain, Be, Kol Mum, V'Toivi, Umare, Umaskilim, B'Chol. Chach, Mavi Yodei Das Mevinim, Adav Asher Koch Lam Lamoid, Bechal HaMelech, Ulamdan L'Sefer L'Shoin, Kastim, Maya Asher In Bem Kolmum. So what's going on? What does the pasuk mean? First, why line? Amar Rav Chamer Chinna Afilu Kerivda Dikusilta. Says Rav Chamer Rav Chanina, even a lancet puncture, even a puncture by a needle. What does the pasuk mean? Lo have it, we didn't have that. The strength to stand in the Heichal of the king. Amar Rav Chami knows what's going on here. They will push themselves in a schik min a sikh min a shina. Even they had to use the bathroom, they would stand. Why? Because of the Ema, the incredible fear of the kingdom. Says the Gemara back to Shechan Mishav Azar V'Yibahem Mimnei Yehuda Daniel Chanan Mishav Azarya Amar Rav Lezer Kulam Mimnei Yehuda Heim Rav Shmuel Nachmeni Amar Daniel Mimnei Yehuda Chanan Mishav Azar V'Yishar Shvatu B'Nayach Asher Yetzu Mimeka Asher Toilet Yichachu V'Yasur Meichal Melech Bavel Mai Srisim Amar Rav Shisim Mamish Rav Chadina Amar No Shenistar Sal Yizeh May be Ameim, excuse me. Says the Gemara, Machlekes, what level is the work? So basically, I know they'll say, I see behind. There is reason, man. What does that mean? Singed by fire. And was loy adas v'hem. This means there's a wound, there's no smoke. I know if Gomer Hashem the streets of Sheish Shmuel. El man never sees a man mishmishtai karabak. And who's the tzaddik here? How can they possibly do that? So says the Gemara, Hava have behu. They both are there, and that's what we have to get to. V'siyat Ishmael. Pick it up from here. Amir Tzah Hashem.